Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the energy and the numerology for April 2021. First, I'll break down the numerology for April, and then I will dive into the energy forecast for your particular life path number. These are general readings. If you're interested in a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. Okay, so April 2021 is a 9 universal cycle. We haven't had one of these cycles in a while, so it's going to definitely be something we've been looking forward to, I think. We'll definitely be reaping some of the rewards that this energy can bring in. So 9 energy can bring about the closure or ending of a significant cycle within your life. So if there's an area within your life where you can feel things coming to a close, this may occur for you in April. Oftentimes, when this 9 energy comes around, we usually see endings or closure or things coming to fruition around things that we've been working on for quite some time. It can be around a relationship. It can be around maybe some kind of health concern that you've had or something that you've kind of been working on to do with your body or the way you present yourself. It can have to do with work projects, creative projects. I mean, really just anything that again, is just something you've been working on for quite some time or been dealing with for some time, or it's been, again, kind of coming up for quite some time. This can be coming to an end, to some kind of closure or fruition where you'll see things tying up very nicely. Sometimes they can end a little bit chaotically, a little bit abruptly. So it's not always necessarily tied up with a lovely bow, but a lot of times it is. It's something that we've been putting in a lot of effort in towards, we've been showing up for. It's something that's been on our plate to handle or deal with or overcome. And it's kind of like the universe is like, well done. It's kind of like graduating in a sense, where the universe is like, well done. You've done the work. Now here's the reward, and it's time for this to complete or come to closure. So oftentimes this closure, whatever it is, creates this beautiful space for a grand new beginning. And I want to make sure that you understood I said grand, including a brand new beginning, but a grand new beginning. This is creating the space for something big, something divinely timed. It's that cosmic, okay? So you may see gifts or rewards come your way at the closure of this cycle, whatever that is for you, because of the work and the growth that you've dedicated yourself to. Be open to receiving these much deserved gifts. You are worthy. And a lot of times it can be where that closure takes place, and it might feel like a loss or something that we need to grieve. And that's okay, because a lot of times, like I said, these are things that we've been energetically invested in. We've invested resources and time and whatever. We've just really been invested in whatever this is. And so when that comes to a close, sometimes there can be grief associated with that. And of course, we want to honor that. And we might not be able to fully recognize or see those gifts as they present themselves, but that's okay. The gifts will still come. And when we are ready, we'll be able to see them and then put them to use. So if you've put in the work, you've put in the effort, you've continued to show up, you've done, you've exhausted everything that you need to exhaust around whatever this life lesson is, around whatever this growth or expansion opportunity is, you will see some kind of reward from the universe. You will see some kind of gift come in. Even if you don't recognize it right away, you will be able to recognize it in hindsight, and then you'll be able to use that gift in your forward movement, in your propelling you forward in a beautiful way. So again, this energy is allowing things to tie up and close so that it can create that grand space for a beautiful new beginning. And with that ending will come those rewards, okay? 9 energy is that of the humanitarian. So during this time, during this cycle, you may feel called to find ways where you can be of greater service to those in need and how you can dedicate your efforts towards creating a better world to live in. This is beautiful energy and a great time to ask yourself whether your actions, your current actions, contribute to the harmony, balance, and good of all. Or do your actions focus more on the needs and the desires of only those whom you deem worthy? The energy of the 9 is vast, okay? It's expansive. It's without limits. So allow it to permeate your way of thinking to become much more open-minded, generous, and idealistic as opposed to being more cynical. Do something for another during this time in a state of gratitude for the blessings that you have received throughout your life. This is a great cycle to pay it forward, to, purchase the coffee for someone behind you in line, or the meal for somebody across the restaurant, whatever, or pay somebody's bill, or whatever the case may be, whatever speaks to you. But this is beautiful, beautiful energy of paying it forward, of creating that beautiful karma, or paying off those karmic debts. 9 cycles can be great for opening up to deeper innate gifts, including psychic abilities, intuitiveness, and vivid dream space. So this is going to be a time where you really want to pay close attention to your dreamscapes, to whatever comes in for you during dream time, during daydreams and night dreams. That's going to be the case always, but it is especially going to be true throughout April. So pay attention to those dreams that come in, write them down, try to work with them the best that you can. I do offer Dreamwork, so if that's something that you're interested in exploring further, I would love to work with you to pull those beautiful messages that are trying to come through for you so that you can work with them as you create this new beginning. During this cycle, creative powers, during this 9 vibration can be used to develop your artistic abilities that can be put to great use in the upcoming 1 cycle. So pay attention to any of those inspirations that come into you. They can, again, come in through dreams. They can come in through somebody saying something to you, or maybe you get a thought or an idea that comes in. This is a great time to get messy and play and be creative. And, you don't necessarily need to start whatever this new idea is, whatever this new goal is. This is going to be, again, a time for playing around and figuring out how you want to start that process. Because really, this is going to be the time or the energy around closure, completion, endings, things coming to fruition so that you can create that space for those grand new beginnings. And those new beginnings, a beautiful time to start those new beginnings is during a 1 cycle, which will be in May. So this is going to be a time for, really fostering that growth of those creative ideas, your creative talents, exploring your creative talents, see what speaks to you, what brings out your passion, and use that energy to sort of become the expert or to perfect some of those skills, right? Or to really flex that muscle so that when that 1 cycle comes in, that energy around that universal 1, when that comes in May, you're ready to hit the ground running, okay? You're ready for those big new adventures, those big new starts, okay? So beautiful, beautiful energy in April. Definitely, again, pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to those things that are ending. And if you need to grieve that ending, then do so. Understand, though, that you, in allowing these endings to take place or to make space from these endings, you're creating an opportunity for something much more aligned, much more fruitful and bountiful to come your way. So it's really, really positive. It's really fantastic energy to work with. I'm really excited for April. Okay, life path number 8. So I pulled an animal spirit card for you all, and you got mouse spirit. And mouse says you're overlooking some important details. So pay closer attention to what's going on. And so what I'm really getting is that this energy of the need to be present. So often 8s can be so future oriented and so focused on what's to come that can create anxiety or stress or sort of this unmatched drive, but it can sometimes throw you off course in the sense that you miss the finer details. So I'm really feeling like there's this energy of this call to be present when it comes to, doing your scheduling or working on a project. Hold the vision, but come back to the finer details. So if you feel like things feel overly chaotic in some area of your life, or you're not making headway in a certain area, oftentimes that can be because we're just overwhelmed by living in the future or, striving to get where we want to be type thing. And we're not as focused on the present as we should be or need to be in order to, find all those little morsels along the way, right? Those important key pieces to the puzzle. So I feel like with mouse spirit coming in, if you've ever had a little mouse in your house, they don't miss anything. They find all the little crumbs. They're very keyed into the present and the details. And so again, if you feel overwhelmed or frustrated or just things feel chaotic, then just remember mouse spirit as a reminder to bring it back to the present, to focus on what you have in front of you, and to pay closer attention to those details, because it's the details that are going to help sort of propel you forward to where you want to be, right? Skipping the details is what is going to trip you up. So, good advice from Mouse. Okay, so I broke April down into 4 weeks. The first week of April, I'm kind of getting some different energies here. One, I'm just getting this need for like emotional maturity. So it's kind of like if something doesn't go your way, or if something doesn't turn out the way that you had hoped it would, or that you anticipated that it would, to not completely like lose your shit over it type thing, like to not let it completely derail you to where you start beating yourself up about it, or you think, or you feel shame about it, or whatever the case may be. Because again, and it's interesting, I think it was 7s who had some very similar energy, but it's like, there's just this level of sort of elevating yourself emotionally to understand that those stumbling blocks that are there, that we often trip over, are there to get our attention, are there to shift our focus, to get us to take a different perspective or to gain a different viewpoint, right? And so it's like, because it's almost like if we were continuing in the direction that we were continuing in, then we're going to get the same results. And that's going to be very, very frustrating if those results are ones that were not what we were looking for, right? So I just get this feeling like something may not work out the way that you had hoped or anticipated. And instead of seeing it as a failure or, just a complete roadblock that, was thrown to you from the universe out of vengeance, it's really more about like finding your emotional maturity within to understand, okay, this was a roadblock, this was a hurdle, this sucked, but this isn't the end of the world, and this isn't my fault. This is something where it's like, okay, I was meant to experience this for a reason. What was that reason? So that I can learn from it. And so that moving forward, I can focus my energy on the things that are working, right? That do require my attention and that actually deserve my attention. So it's like if you've been focusing your energy on things that you've just have been, again, making you feel depleted in any way, then this is an opportunity for that focus to shift, right? And it's kind of like, I find that when we are on a dead end road, that the universe will throw those obstacles in our way to like save us the time of continuing down that path, right? So that we can make a detour into something that's much more emotionally fulfilling and worth our time and our energy and our investment, right? Like we have to make those wrong turns every now and then. What doesn't serve us is when we get so emotionally attached to the outcome that we're completely devastated when it doesn't turn out the way that we had hoped, if that makes sense, right? So there's just this call to like this first week to just pay attention to your emotions. I feel like your emotions may be heightened at this time, but to not get overly consumed by something that's not working, okay? To see it for what it is, to acknowledge it, to honor it, to release it, and then move on to those things that are working or are meant to work or that feel good for you, right? That feel aligned. So I just feel like you might get a little bit of a detour at the beginning of the month, but it doesn't feel like anything catastrophic. It just feels like a nudge from the universe to be like, okay, we're done here. Let's move on to what's working. Let's move on to something else. The second week of April, it's almost like the first week and the second week kind of go hand in hand, because I feel like that first week, something gets triggered, something's not working, and it's like you have the potential to really be consumed by whatever that is and just let it completely derail your whole month. But then it's like if you can shift your focus a little bit, then there's going to be something that comes in for you that makes it very clear the direction you're meant to move into, like where the detour is taking you. And it might be a little bit challenging, or you might be a little hesitant to take this new route, but you're definitely encouraged to do so. It's definitely fully illuminated. And as we progress into April, you'll see why I think that. But the second week, I think it's like you have to kind of pay your respects to whatever it was that didn't work out and move on type thing. And, do so with emotional maturity, if that makes sense, so that you're not completely consumed and derailed by whatever this is. But I feel like the second week, some kind of communication, some kind of idea, some kind of change in direction is going to come in for you that feels very tangible and feels very clear. Like you're going to get that clarity around that second week that's going to show you which direction you need to move into. And it's like you just have to say yes to it, right? It can be a little bit challenging to say yes to it because you're kind of leaving behind whatever that was that didn't work or that you really wanted to work and it just isn't the right time or whatever the case may be. And so I just see you taking a different direction in the second week. And just know that it's very illuminated and the steps will present themselves organically, okay? When the timing is right. The third week of April, it's interesting because it's like now I'm seeing like the people coming in for you. So it's like this could be a relationship, like an actual like love relationship. This could be a partner of some sort, like a business partner or somebody that you're going to collaborate with. This actually, it's weird. I'm just like, I saw the word Libra. So it's almost like, feels like very Libra energy, like that kind of like bringing people together, working together, collaborating, that peacekeeper, finding your balance in a relationship, something like that. But what's interesting is like, I feel like this person or these people are going to like open up a world of opportunities for you. It's just like, I'm getting the image of like showing you the world type thing. And it also has like a protective layer as well. So it's like they have your best interest at heart. Whoever this is, like wants to see you succeed and wants to be a part of that in some way. So again, it could be like a romantic partnership, or it could be a colleague or a new business partner or somebody you've like never met before who just pops into your realm and wants to help you in some way and has the access or the leverage to be able to do that. So that's really beautiful energy. So if there's a project that you're working on, if there's something that is a big undertaking that you're, like I said, taking on, then this is going to be somebody who will be able to, you'll be able to see eye to eye with. You have a shared interests, and your views on life are very similar. It feels like. So again, it's kind of like They're just there to help you, and you'll in turn help each other. So this is really beautiful, powerful energy. But what's interesting is like, I feel like if you were too focused on whatever it was at the beginning of the month that didn't kind of work out in your favor, or maybe that's something from the previous month that you're still holding on to, if you were still so focused on that, I almost feel like the environment wouldn't be ripe or ready for this person to enter. So that's why it's like the universe needs you to say goodbye to whatever this is, to clear your plate of whatever this is that wasn't working, and start from a clean slate to create the environment so that this person can enter, okay? So then we move into the end of the week. And what's interesting is this is sort of typical for 8 energy, because again, you guys are those business-minded leaders. So you've kind of always got business on the brain, or like how to make things work and how to make things work better. And just constantly like thinking and trying to embody all of that. And so it's interesting because I'm seeing this energy around like you being really in your head about something, like overcomplicating something because of the stories that you're telling yourself, or overthinking or overanalyzing something. And you're just making the situation more difficult than it needs to be, is what I'm hearing. So it's kind of like, and I don't know if it's like this person, whoever this is, comes in and you start to really overanalyze it, or just kind of overanalyze it to the point where you're too focused on the bigger picture that you're missing the details of it, and then you're creating the anxiety and the stress around it. So again, it just feels like this spiral that doesn't really need to happen. So if you find yourself at the end of the month really in your head, I'm talking like more than normal, and you're feeling really uncomfortable or a lot of anxiety or a lot of stress around that, then just remember this reading, because it's really a call to say you're too in your head right now. You need to become the observer of this and remove yourself from it and see like where it is that you're creating stories or creating that anxiety that's not actually necessary. I just get this sense like, if this, whatever this is, feels incredibly difficult, it's because you're so in your head about it. You're almost making it more difficult than it needs to be. And we're all guilty of this. Trust me. We've all had moments where we go through this sort of thing. But I'm seeing that really, really strongly. So just pay attention to your thoughts, to your mindset at the end of the month. 8 energy is, part of that manifesting triad, the 2, 4, 8. And it's like, it's like what you guys think about, you can manifest pretty easily. So just be really aware of your thoughts and those mindsets at the end of the month, because I just get this feeling like if it feels really, really challenging, then it probably has something to do with your mindset, is what I'm feeling. Sometimes our environment can make things really, really challenging, but I'm getting the sense like whatever this is at the end of the month is you creating anxiety and stress where there doesn't need to be any, okay? So just remember mouse spirit and pay attention to those details. And then if you feel yourself so in your head, that it's creating anxiety, then get out of it, okay? Remove yourself from your, become the observer and try to work from that angle, okay? All right, 8s, I hope it's a beautiful April for you all. Take care. Bye for now.